Management and Law. We are inviting our first panelist on the stage, Vijay Nandila. Mr. Vijay Nandila is a financial analytic and senior management specialist at BI Solutions with a rich leadership and management experience. He is a life mentor.
Our second panelist is Mr. Satish Pendiala. Satish Pendiala is an advocate, mentor, citizen activist, TEDx speaker, and a civil service coach. With a strong work ethics, good communication skills, and attention to detail, have demonstrated these capabilities both as a team player and as an individual contributor.
The moderator for this panel is Ms. Antra. Ms. Antra is a curator for the Global Shapers Hub in Hyderabad. She is an engagement manager at PricewaterhouseCoopers, largely in the domain of public sector, consulting with a focus on enabling entrepreneurship in a country. She is passionate about mental health, higher education, and women empowerment.
Hi, thank you so much, and so grateful to have all of you here. Like RK sir told before in this panel, we should always try to get into your shoes and ask panelists their questions. So I'll begin with a very small anecdote. When I was sub 10 years old, and I'm not from Hyderabad, I'm from Calcutta, I used to see my father, get up every day, dress up, go to office. And I always thought that, it looked very important. He used to come back, leave home at like 8:30 in the morning, come back by 9:30, 10. And I was always thinking that, he must be doing something very important, and I want to be doing what he's doing, although I had no idea what he was doing actually, right? So incidentally, my dad was a CA. He worked in several companies before retiring as the CFO of an institution in Calcutta. With that, we have Vijay, who is very, very experienced. He has over 25 years of experience in the corporate. And we have Satish here with us, who's an advocate. He's a social activist, and he trains students for UPSC as well. So coming back to, we'll start with Satish. All of us kind of think, because also movies and everything else promotes us to think that way, that being a lawyer is to wear a black and white dress and show up in court. What is there beyond the profession, like beyond that, in terms of being a lawyer? If you could just enlighten our students.
Sure. Namaste. So, we had a discussion a few minutes back before on AI and also technology. And we have a discussion on management and law. And we have few more discussions coming up. Every discussion talks about certain segments. And every segment is made legal by government through law. So where the major importance of the law lies? Law or your legal perspective is very much important in any country to grow. We have our Jignesh and other panelists who mentioned that it takes 29 minutes for us to travel from India to San Francisco. And the approval should come from government for that. And who approves? The government, following the rules and regulations. So where the lawyer comes into the picture and law comes into the mind. Everything should be done through rules and regulations. The rule of law is very much important. But one thing which is happening around the world these days is no country is sovereign. The sovereign culture, the sovereign nature of every country is diluted because of this globalization, so-called privatization or liberalization. We have become a borderless country. So, Vasudhaika Kutumbakam, we call it, borderless nations. And it is very easy for us to reach any corner of the world now. And to have contemporary rules and regulations is more important. For that, we need good lawyers who can understand the society well, who can ensure they bring up the change in rules and regulations which suit the growth of the country.
So what are the different job roles, if we have to really break it down that way for our students?
Yeah. So as a career option, coming to law, few years back or few decades back, the law is అంటే మనం ఎలా చెప్పుకునే వాళ్ళం అంటే చెట్టు కింద పీటర్, చెట్టు కింద లాయర్. ఓ లాయర్ అంటే తెల్ల కోట్ వేసుకొని నల్ల కోట్ వేసేసుకొని తెల్ల డ్రెస్ వేసుకొని ఒక జడ్జి ముందు వాదించాలి. సూపర్ ఉమెన్ అనే ఈ కాన్సెప్ట్, సో ఎలా వాదించాలి, క్రాస్ ఎగ్జామినేషన్ we were thinking only in that perspective. But now after especially 1990s, law as a career is more wider. It is in fact more than wider. Because of the changing role of the government, because of the changing role of the private sector, because we have few NGOs, pressure groups coming into the picture, and because of more citizen participation, law as a career is more wider. Law opportunities, if you want me to pen down, yes, of course, you have advocacy, you can practice in the court, you can register in the bar and practice in the court. Secondly, you can be a legal advisor to private companies, you are a freelance legal advisor to the private companies. There's a lot of demand for corporate lawyer these days, and some student has asked a question of how to raise funding after an idea. To raise funding, you need a paperwork for that, and lawyer is important there. So, for preparing this paperwork, and so on. And after this private sector, we have government job. Coming to UPSC, Union Public Service Commission, or to your engineering services exam, or your medical services exams, and everywhere you have this polity and constitution which is common in the syllabus. And this constitution which is common in the syllabus is part of the law. So when you take law in your graduation, it will be very easy, it will give an edge over other aspirants for you to crack government jobs, especially UPSC and group 1 services. Fourth one is your CS, company secretary, and law is a very good combination. And the fifth one, which is now booming, is the cyber security, cyber law, and the protection of your IPRs, intellectual property rights. And lastly, we have your human rights. Human rights is also a very good area where you can work. So, as a lawyer, you have a diversified field. You can choose which field you want to be in. And if you don't want to be in any of these fields, you can be a teacher like me after doing law. So academician is also a very good opportunity because all good universities take you because you being a lawyer, they think that you do a research, you are rational, and you only go with facts and not on superstitions. So doing law gives you an edge.
Right. Moving on to Vijay sir. Vijay sir, corporate is like a big term, like it's a motherhood umbrella. Like none of us, when I was in school, which was like a long time back, you know what is corporate, what is consulting? I didn't know what consulting was till I was in college, third or like in my master's, I think. Right. Could you decode for our students what are the various facets of corporate? Like, what do you need to study to get aligned to what in corporate, and just in general, what is corporate? What is this giant that we don't know about?
Good morning, all. Are you able to hear backbenchers so far? Okay. Thank you for the wonderful question. And the previous panelists, I just wanted to shout out that you have set a great standard for the rest of the panels throughout the day. So it's going to be very difficult for us, rest of the people to match up your standard. So if there is any expectation from the audience, I just wanted to tell you, at least from my side, I don't know about the other panelists, but from my side, please don't set the bar at that level. Okay? I consider myself as a constant and never-ending student. So I'm a jack of all. So I'm not master of anything. I'm just jack of all, and I'm still trying to learn every day. And the day doesn't end if I'm not learning anything new. Anything new. So that's a little about my background. Now, corporate is a beast. Now, what you are asking is, what do you want to know about the beast? Now, where do you want to stand with the beast? You want to be in front of it, you want to be on it, riding, or you want to be part of it, supporting the ride. Now, that depends on your entire journey of the corporate. Now, not everybody can ride, not everybody is a CEO or a CFO or a CTO or things like that. Those positions, it's like a pyramid, right? So, the bottom people who are the runners of the organization, there are multiple people. The next layer is mid-level management, where you have a less number of people, but who are the communicators between the runners and the people who actually give the direction, right? And the third level is the people who actually understand the direction from the top level management, the C level management, and they translate that to the next level management and say, you know what, this is what I want you to do, and they decode that at that level. So those things are like, okay, I want to send my rocket to space. This is the CEO level. And then there are the second level of people who will think about what needs to be done to get a rocket, what needs to be done to get the government approvals, what needs to be done to assemble all kinds of people. The next level people actually decode that into, okay, as a lawyer, what are the things that I need to do? Okay, as an engineer, if there are any engineers here, what is that you need to look at, or aspiring engineers. So well, some of them are, they are doing their own coding in their mobiles. I did see that now also. So there are engineers all the time. And then the people who actually do the work, okay, people who write the code to display hello world in any language, be it C, Python, whatever, coffee, tea, Java, all that kind of stuff, right? So all the languages, right? So you need to, as the previous panelist again said, you need to understand where you want to do it. You can see that somebody is say driving a 4 chidi, chudi, which is basically a Audi. You want to be that, or you want to be someone who understands how the engine of Audi is made, or you want to understand, how I can drive it best, so that there is no other driver in the organization or in the say city, state, college, whatever it is. So depends. So your question is a very, very vast question. So I would want to narrow it down to what your passion is, again, what we discussed earlier, or you guys have discussed earlier, to what is your capability. Your passion might be building rockets, but you are capable of driving one or flying one. So you look at your capability along with the passion, and there is no harm in changing your lines of understanding yourself and getting an expertise in that. So you might start your career as a software engineer or a mechanical engineer or a civil engineer. It doesn't matter what it is. At the end of it, you could be doing something which is completely different. You could be writing documentation for the product that you have built. It's absolutely fine as long as you're good at it. So
sir, as a follow-up, if someone wants to work in say HR, but they don't know what HR is as of today, right? So that is the kind of information maybe that someone's looking for. That if I want to work in finance, do I necessarily need to become a CA, or are there other ways to get to it, right? So that is effectively what would help us do this. Yeah.
It's a twofold question. One is HR, the other one is a CA, right?
Any specific field?
Any specific field. So I'll start with the second one, latter one. You don't need to be a chartered accountant for you to understand how money works. Okay? Take my example. Everybody is a CA, MCA, engineer. I'm a BA. I started my life with that. So I did not even made the C of the CA, right? So I started with my BA, mathematics, statistics, and economics. It's a deadly combination. In South India, you get something like that because you have not performed very well in your education, in your classroom. Typically, that is what happens. Biosciences. But the same thing, I have taken that, I've completed it and gone to Delhi, where BA is considered as higher compared to BSc and BCom. Whereas here in South India, engineer, doctor, and then you have BSc, especially BSc computers, and then rest of the BScs, and then you have BComs and then BA. Whereas in Delhi it is the other way. So I chose to go there where it is a little advantageous, and then I started learning. And again, I come from Telugu medium, so my language is a major issue. I cannot speak English, I cannot speak Hindi. Being in Hyderabad, your Hindi is actually not a Hindi, it's a Khichdi of multiple languages. So you think you speak Hindi, but again, I'm sorry. That's not the case. You go to Delhi, you go to UP, you go to Maharashtra, you will understand that that is Hindi and what you are talking is actually a combination of multiple languages or a Khichdi. Now, I had that disadvantage, and then I had to learn. I had to learn the language, what ma'am asked earlier, is how to communicate, so that is one thing. And then coming back, I started, very typical, I started my career as a software engineer, so programmer do. Okay, earlier the word was not there in Telugu, it was adopted now. So programmer do is one word where he's the one who actually writes the program. Now, I have understood that, and then I also understood that there is a huge communication gap between what the customer or my end client is asking versus what we are doing as a software engineer. And that communication is mostly because of, I'm not going to say that this is applicable for everybody, but at least it was applicable for the kind of generation that we came from. So you cannot say no. If my boss comes and says, this needs to be done by evening, I cannot say it is not practical. Okay, I have to work on it. I burn the candles or the lights and then work on it, deliver it by next day morning. The quality is gone to dogs. There is no documentation. It works for short time. And in fact, one of my colleagues has mentioned that it works in my computer. If it is not working in your computer, there is a problem with yours, not mine. Right? So then what I understood is the customer or the client would give a requirement of, I want you to enter this kind of information and tell me what is my total sales in my region. That's the question that you are asking. So you understand sale, you understand data entry. So that is all, as a programmer, you have to think and somebody will give you that. I'll come back to that. I'm actually connecting all the dots. So I have not lost the track of the CEO or the HR. So from there, you need to understand that what exactly is the requirement, right? So this requires for you to go to the next level of what exactly the top person or the top management is asking for. And that's where nowadays most of the organizations are looking at my company vision is, right? Now what is that coming from? That comes from a panel of people who actually can put what the company's vision is, or one person or multiple people's vision is, into a set of words which can make the runners understand. Right? Now, this is a major part of the HR. Now, how do you translate that to a chartered accountant? Chartered accountant or a person who is actually running the finance of the organization would say, you know what, for me to achieve this, I need to invest $1 million. I need to invest 1 lakh rupees. I need to invest 0 rupees. Whatever is the amount, that translation needs to come. And that understanding will come only when you understand how your money works. As an individual. As an individual, how your money works is most important for you to understand how organization's money works. For example, how many of you, or the students, I'm not talking about the parents, how many of you have pocket money? About 10, 15%, 10%, I would say. Yeah, okay. Now, is that around, say, 1,000 rupees or more in a month? Yes, no? Yeah, okay. A month, I'm not talking about a week or a day. I'm talking about a month. Okay, fine. So now when you go to a coffee stop or a tea stall or buy your coffee, you're spending anywhere between 15 rupees to 500 rupees for one coffee. Right? There is a quality difference. I understand that, but you are spending that. Now, how many of you, whoever getting the pocket money or whoever is not getting the pocket money, have tried earning 1,000 rupees? Anybody? 1,000 rupees a month. One, where you need to understand that no matter what job you do, no matter if all the jobs are taken over by AI from the previous panel again, if nothing is there, okay, you as an engineers, for you to work as software engineers or whatever engineers, you have nothing to do, then you have a lot of things, at least as life gives you to do. For example, same thing, 500 years back, there is no IT, there is no mobiles, right? When someone is talking, nobody is watching mobiles there, right? 500 years back. Not today, I cannot expect that now. But money was there, organizations were there, they were running, they were making money, they were profitable, some of them lost. Everybody was running their own finances. How? You earn 100 rupees, you save 10 rupees, you invest 10 rupees, you donate 10 rupees, whatever, you do the math, right? Now this is exactly how organization also works. If you want to understand the finance of it, you don't need to be a chartered accountant. Being a chartered accountant will help you to understand and litigate the law which is available. Okay, not to misuse it, but to make the best out of it. So what government provides as an entrepreneur, if you are an entrepreneur, it provides so much of facility to actually make the best out of it and pay less tax. You're spending, so government helps you to spend and it encourages you to spend so that you can pay less tax. As an individual who are working, you're 30% of 30% depending on which tax bracket you are in. The money will first taken out by the government and the rest of the money is given to you, right? Now, you need to understand how your money is working. You apply the same principle to our organization. How you behave within your own family, when you are with your parents, when you're with your siblings, when you're with an extended family of your cousins, that behavior is exactly extended to HR within an organization. So you're courteous to the next person or you're understanding to the next person. Sometimes you have to cut it, sometimes you have to be within your own limitations, saying that this is not appropriate for me to say here, I can take it offline. This is exactly the same principle under which the rest of the rules were made. It might look very complicated right now, that is because we made it like that. People, one or two or individuals who misuse the positions that they were in had actually created multiple layers of complexity to ensure that that doesn't happen again. But if you behave yourself, that's the same thing, whether it is money or behavior, which is HR, a part of that is HR, or as a corporate, as an individual, what you are defines exactly how you will be placed within an organization.
And then, may or may not get into corporate because education may or may not be aligned. So that is the next question. Yeah.
That's for me. Then you can even mention. Yeah. So this is I think so you need to understand that and appreciate. Now, as a person who's actually learning, make sure that you learn. Now, whether you get 90% or 70%, it really doesn't matter. It matters to certain organizations for you to step inside the organization, right? But what matters is, are you able to learn something new, right? Now, if that learning is with your passion, with actually in line with your passion, then it's a win-win situation. You're not actually suffering the learning. You're enjoying that. Whereas, if that is something that you have to do it. For example, how many of you have done trigonometry? Almost everybody, right? Now, where do you use trigonometry in day-to-day life? Anybody? Where do you use trigonometry in day-to-day life? A bar graphs, okay? I don't draw graphs. But good
Where
answer.
we use the paragraphs as well.
Where we use, yeah. Anybody else?
Calculate the height of
You don't, you look at, what is the height of this in Google. Google auntie, Google uncle, tell me this, you got it. You don't use trigonometry, right? But you enjoy every bloody bridge which is there in the city. And that is trigonometry. You don't think and thank trigonometry at that time. You take it for granted. So certain things you have to suffer to learn to go there. But that helps you later. Right? So, it or not, till your 10th class. Okay? That is very important because as a doctor, if you are making tons of money, you need to know how much to count. The counting will come only if you study. Right? Otherwise, somebody else is counting. A chartered accountant is counting. You are a chartered accountant. No, okay. But when they count, they take 30% of it because they are counting for you. Right? So it is better you learn how to count and then you count your money. For that you have to learn the basics. Well, I don't want to be a doctor, but I want to be a civil engineer. But you still have to study botany because at the end of it, when you construct a beautiful house, you need to know bloody where the plants are coming, how they are coming, and what kind of plants you have to put at what season. Right? And that basic knowledge will come when you understand there is something called a seed which goes into the soil, which sprouts as a plant and grows as a tree, and that is where the mangoes come, not Ratnadi or some other place. The mangoes come from the tree. The basics, I think some of you might know, but I'm talking about the people who doesn't. So these are the things that you need to understand.
So the idea is you study what you like instead of retrofitting it back into something that you think you want to do, because that really doesn't work out in the long run.
Absolutely.
You study psychology. Who knew 5 years back that psychology is such a huge thing in marketing and corporates right now, right? We didn't know, but it is. So people who studied psychology because they loved it now are earning a lot of money in very different roles, right? So moving on to Satish, exploring the UPSC coach side and because UPSC again, how many people here want to appear for civil services exams sometime? You thought about it. I expected a lot more hands, but okay.
Any competitive exam, CLAD, maybe CLAD,
CLAD also,
or
yes.
UPSC, or Group 1 exam, or junior civil judge. There are many government
Bar
exams.
exam, everything.
Yeah.
So you can come to Satish for coaching.
Yeah, fine.
Also, Satish, if you could decode the UPSC life a little bit for us, it's extremely rigorous. It requires a lot of discipline, a lot of hard work, and I've seen people try year on year. What is your take on the UPSC journey? What would you advise students?
Yeah, they made it rigorous actually. They say that UPSC is not Union Public Service Commission, but unpredictable Public Service Commission. It is unpredictable. Every year the paper is different, and every year your approach should be different. So there you are. Every year the approach is different. So you are a complete man when you know the approach. When you study for UPSC, you will win your life. Because you will be studying some 15, 16 different subjects, which are very much important for your day-to-day life. And your UPSC preparation should start from your graduation, especially when you are in your first year. Not only your UPSC, any government exam. It may be State Public Service Commission exam, or if you are doing your law in your graduation, maybe junior civil judge. The JCJ, Junior Civil Judge exams, or any other exam. Now, to understand where from to start, from your first year of your graduation, the first thing you need to do is to understand the syllabus, by heart the syllabus. Syllabus is the utmost thing in your competitive exam. So, because when you understand the syllabus, you will be knowing what to leave, not what to study. No, what to leave is something very important for me, is something not important for me. Or just before sir was mentioning that, follow your passion and concentrate on those things you like and you want to be adoptive in the future. But even you should concentrate on the things which you don't like as well at this age, because you need to score marks. So that is one point in this time. You need to also concentrate on some subjects which you don't like as well, right? Because when I was in my intermediate or school, I don't know what is this theta, sine 30, I just studied by heart and everything. Yeah, I just know what is theta. So that is the only thing which was there. But this reminds me of my teachers then, and the thing is, they showed me the value of the education. They ensured that you know everything. You better know everything, because, as Jignesh mentioned in the other panel, that knowing something about many things is very important, and that is the need of our now. In our liberal arts, in our liberal philosophy, or in our competitive field, nowadays knowing about each and everything is very important. Because as sir mentioned, being a civil engineer, you should know about botany. Meaning you have to know a little bit of many things to survive. Because the life is fast changing. But coming back to the question again, for competitive exam, the first thing we need is to by heart the syllabus. And the second important thing is you should have your material ready, and you should not read 10 books. You have to read one book 10 times. This is one more mantra which we have for the exam. And the third and the utmost point which I should mention here is to understand the exam. It takes time for us to understand the exam. If you take UPSC, if you're in Delhi or in the north, because many people take BA or BCom, they are into their arts and humanities. We all are Parayana and this stuff. So all BCom, medical and engineering grads. But there are BA in humanities and arts students more. So they understand the UPSC very well even before they complete the graduation. It takes almost 4 to 5 months to understand what is that subject, what is that exam, or what is the difference between UPSC and other exams, or why the syllabus is designed in such a manner. It's a 1 year long exam, and you have to understand. If you are in South India, especially from Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, because Mera Beta Engineer Banega it was decided when we are born. So for us, it will take a year to understand what is UPSC. So for that, you need a mentor. So mentor is very important. So when you are into your first year of graduation, please start. And how to go, along with the graduation and prepare for UPSC or other competitive exams is one more doubt students ask us, right? And do not compromise on the graduation is my answer. And many people say that please take BA if you want to write civil service examination. Fine, if you are more passionate about doing BA, you take it. But for UPSC, don't take BA. You have to have plan B always ready when you are preparing for competitive exam, because the success rate is 0.5%. And 0.5% is very less. 10 lakh people apply for 1,000 jobs every year. And 3,000 qualify for interview, personality test in the third round, and 1,000 get the ranks. And you need to repeat from the first stage again when you want to write it again in the next year. So have the plan B ready. And so the reason choosing law is a very good option. After your intermediate, if you choose law, it's 5-year law. You'll get your BA honors plus LLB or BSc plus LLB, BA plus LLB. 60% of your UPSC syllabus is there in law, BA, LLB law, or whatever it is. So if not UPSC, you're a lawyer, you're a corporate lawyer, you're a cyber law expert, or you're a forensic lawyer. Nowadays, criminal psychology, criminal forensic is also increasing as a discipline. We have seen a lot of movies on IT 1, IT 2. So all these movies are also coming up. So there is a lot of demand for criminal forensic criminology. Even that is also there. And so please choose your career wisely. And law is a very good career. If anyone is you want to take up your competitive field, competitive exams.
On that note, how would you advise them to go about CLAT? This
Yeah.
CLAT is an exam you take right after your 12th standard.
Correct. So after 12th, if you want to get into law as a graduation, you have two options. One is a central level exam called CLAT, and every state conducts law set. That's called law set. So whenever you choose CLAT, there are 15 to 16 top universities like NALSA, like your National Law University Bangalore, National Law University Ahmedabad, Odisha. There are many 15 to 16 top universities. And after your graduation from law for 5 years, after CLAT, you have plenty of opportunities. And WTO, WHO, United Nations Organization, UNDP, India, UNICEF, all these need people from these institutions. They are like your IITs and IIMs basically. Right? They, of course, they have knowledge, but they are considered more knowledgeable. And secondly, we have LawCert, which is conducted by the state government. If you wish to be in your state and do law, please choose a university. You be part of the university, not the private college, what I suggest. Maybe Usmania University, or maybe Ambedkar Open University, or Ambedkar University, or maybe any other university. So doing law from university is a very good advantage of being an academician in the future. So this is the two options which you have often listed.
So we'll sort of close it here and open the floor for Q&A, unless, sir, you have something to add.
Yeah, we'll go for Q&A. More questions.
So, like our previous panel,
One minute. Just a minute.
yeah.
Before going to Q&A, I felt this session is too boring. So let us do some exercise. Yeah. So let us do some exercise before going to Q&A session. Yes, everyone. You feel bored, right? I know. I can understand. I can see it, right? So both parents and also students. Yeah. Please raise your hands completely. Okay. So follow me. If I say one, you say ah. If I say two, aha. If I say 10, is it clear? Done? Okay. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Your voice is decreasing. I want everyone to participate. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Come on, be louder. Great.
Would anyone raising their hands for questions?
From Sri Amogha Junior College. So my question is to Satish sir. Sir, now will it be beneficial if a student who wants to take law also takes psychology as well?
Very good. Okay. So we have this 5 years law. We have few domains. Law is common, LLB is common. Along with LLB, we have BA LLB, BA Honors LLB, BSc LLB. CAV college is giving BA Psychology and LLB. If not, you choose BA LLB and take up psychology as a diploma or as a distance mode and do a certificate course on that. Because psychology, law is a very deadly competition when you meet a client.
Sir, another question.
So, example as well. In my early days of career, when I started doing advocacy and all, I just got one case of divorce. And that was my last case. I did not take any divorce case of it. And I'll tell you the reason. The divorce case, which is between husband and wife, they came to me in my office and they sat and they were just doing complaints against each other. I want divorce. At the end of the day, I want divorce. And I was curious to know why they want divorce. I asked the man to write or pen down all the reasons why you want divorce and also the vice versa for the wife. And one reason fascinated me, one reason which did not make me sleep that day. The reason was, husband says that wife asked me to buy shampoo. And wife says that husband don't buy me shampoo. And so the reason they want divorce. I was very much curious. And I call them inside, and why did you write this reason? Husband says that she asked me to buy shampoo every week, which costs 700 rupees. And wife says he will not buy. He says that 700 rupees shampoo is not worth of me. I can't buy it. So we need divorce. You have to understand the psychology. That is not the exact reason they wanted divorce, but they wrote this as a reason. Now, for being a good lawyer, two things I will tell you. The first thing is you should read the society. You should read the people. So how can I read people? How can I read the society? You have to meet more and more people. You make it a habit of meeting at least 2 new people in a week. This actually helps you a lot. And second suggestion I give you is Mahatma Gandhi wrote a book on the qualities of being a good lawyer. I suggest you to read that book as well. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
I'm Samya from Raman High School. So my question is, for choosing any career, I feel 3 things are important. One is opportunity, interest, and capability of us. So I'm in the thing like I have interest in something like AI, but I feel I'm not capable of doing that. And the thing which I'm capable of doing that like bio or something, I'm not having interest in that. So what should I see? My interest or capability?
What's in your language?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, going forward, this is a bad news for most of the software engineers. Going forward, probably 10 years down the line, if the AI is going to be built in such a way that if you give a sentence in English, it's going to write the code for you. So if you're good at a language, you're already good at AI. So pursue what you're good at. And then once you're done with your studies, see the opportunities and then adapt yourself to what is available at that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just want to add a point to that. So there are 2 things which is very important. That is knowing and understanding. You know what is AI now, so you are not feeling interested in it, is what I think. You have to understand something to love it or to adopt it. So try to understand AI as much as possible, and even after that, if you feel that it's not my cup of tea, then I think you should go and adopt another particular discipline. Right?
Thank you.
Now, after your +2, you have to. There's no problem in giving the exams. You can give the exams the next year as well. And but I feel that you have to give your first attempt. I mean, you should make your child give your first attempt and get the rank done. And it's not that tough as UPSC. It's very easy exam, and you have to be prepared for 3 months. 3 months is a very good time for anyone to crack exam. Is what I think.
Thank you. We never know about investment. So can you speak a little bit more about investment and what according to you is straightforward and solid source of investment in one's life?
Probably 20 years back, there was a very straight. I don't know whether that is a bubble or actually a construction, solid construction. We don't know. But what I would advise is for you to grow your money, right? That's the question. Ultimately, you want to grow your money. Okay? You're not looking at a big bungalow in Banjara Hills or a posh location. It could be anywhere. You might own your own island in the world, right? So you need to understand that time is the most important factor that you have to consider for you to grow your money. So it takes anywhere between 5 to 7 years. I know this is not something that at your generation you don't have that kind of stuff, because a 45 minutes to 1 hour discussion, the previous panel, this panel, and coming panels, you're so busy with your own mobiles, and we could see that from here, that you're not able to give 45 minutes. I don't think 7 years is a big, 7 years is something which is very huge, relatively. right? But that is what it takes for you to grow. Now, where can you invest? There are multiple options. I would say start with something which is secure, government or something like that, and then understand how the market works. If you want to invest in the stock market or any kind of markets, you need to understand that. And the next comes, it could be real estate, it could be any kind of market. It really doesn't matter. It need not be a stock or bonds or any market. You need to understand how that market works and what is the cycle of that particular market. For example, if you take oil industry, it typically used to be about 10 years. Now earlier it used to be 10 years for you to reap the benefits out of it. Then became 7 years. Now it's about 4 to 5 years. So you need to understand at a big level how the market works, individual segments within the market works, and that takes time. But fundamental rule, it's a very simple thing. If you want to invest in stock market, very simple. Buy low, sell high. That's all. All you have to do is remember that. Now, where is low, where is high, you need to understand that. You need to study. So, make a principle. Let me ask a question to everybody here. How many of you read the book called Rich Dad Poor Dad? Not the parents, but the students. This is very disappointing. All your studies throughout your 14, 15, 12, what money is, this is very disappointing books. Number one, Richest Man in Babylon. Okay, Richest Man in Babylon. It's a 100-page, 120-page. It's a very simple book. You can finish it in the weekend. The second one is Rich Dad Poor Dad, and the third one, if you want to go into stock market, then Beating the Street. But if you don't want to go into that, but you want to understand some other thing, then Investors Psychology. These are the 3 books that I would recommend you to read. Then you will understand and you can invest better.
Okay, thank you.
Here that law is a very nepotistic field because the judges and the lawyers come from the same family, and once if you have an uncle or some relative who is a lawyer, it's easier for you to become a lawyer. So as somebody who has no godfather in such a field, what are the challenges you need to face in order to have a sort of break in the field and sort of budge in the field?
Yes, yeah. So, when you become engineer, now present scenario, the same applies to even law. So yes, there is a notion that lawyer's career is more nepotistic, and that it is a father, his son, his daughter, everyone are lawyers. We have our Chief Justice of India. His father is a Chief Justice of India, and now the son is a Chief Justice. But yes, if you have passion towards it, you find many ways. When India was moving out of the crisis from 2008, I remember, before 2008, things were completely different. Every family used to produce one engineer minimum. I think more than one, but every family. And in our family, there is no single engineer. And we fought with our uncles, not our father, with uncles, where they were our enemies. They forced us to join engineer, and I was very much reluctant. My sister is a doctor, my younger sister is an advocate, I am an advocate myself. So no engineer in my family, and we are very good. But my father is not a lawyer, my mother is not a lawyer. So you find ways. Apply for it, know about it, and when you don't know about it, you have the gene of learning about it. So that's the best thing. Learning is a best investment, is what I feel. Learning is a very best investment. So you will know more about it. And we all are there to support you. And we do not have Google, we do not have ChatGPT before. Now we have everything like this, and just ask a question in ChatGPT about what it makes to be a lawyer, and you get the answer. And there comes the AI part again.
Also, like professions like corporate law, you can work in multiple areas. You don't necessarily need to be a judge or an advocate if you study to become a lawyer. So, and in those areas, there's absolutely no nepotism happening of whatever sorts. You're just a person who is judged on merit. So yes, that's always an option. So we can take at most one more question. I think it's all hand left.
We have a question.
All of you. Just I want to know, to pursue civil services, like what career, in college actually, how we have to, because you said we have to start from graduation.
Yes.
So what stream we have to, we have to opt for? Because now we are in dilemma between BA public admin or BBA, because now BBA is there. Yeah, previously there is no such thing, but because as you said, no, we should have our plan B also ready. In that case, actually, BBA counts. But to be like, if you want to go 100%, then BA public ed actually will be the option. But we want to your input on that.
Sure, sure.
Thank you.
So if you take BBA, right, they don't directly help in your UPSC exam, but that is your plan B. When you are taking your BA Public Administration, that is not your plan B. That is part of your plan A as well. Because that directly helps your UPSC preparation. So the reason, I recommend those who want to give UPSC exam in the future, take BA along with LLB. When you take BA along with LLB, you will be an LLB or you will be an advocate after 5 years. But after 3 years of your LLB, BA LLB, you are eligible to write the exam because you get a degree in your hand. UPSC exam need 21 years of age and a degree. So BA plus LLB, or now we have BBA plus LLB as well. So this is a more better option for plan B rather than plan A. But if you want to choose only BA Public Administration, BA Sociology, or BA Economics, all these are directly linked to your UPS and you are in plan A. You have any other questions?
I have to know, if we want to become a good lawyer, what rules we have to follow in the court?
Be good. Choose the clients in such a way that where there is a justice. Don't protect the criminals. That is one more important point. And I'll come back to the same thing again. The same question was asked before. Please meet people. When you meet more and more number of people, you will know what things are happening in the society. Like a society moves on, crimes also takes private route. Crimes also moves fast. So the reason, know what are the emerging crimes in the future. So you have to think ahead. So when you will think ahead, you have to meet more and more people. I have a habit of reading good books, autobiographies, especially autobiographies. Get the characters within you. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so
From Sri Siddhartha School, I have a question. If we have a goal in our life, if I have any passion, if my parents don't support it at that moment, is my family is important or my passion?
I don't want to disappoint the parents, at the same time I don't want to disappoint the students. Now, what's your name?
Shweta.
Shweta. You can see this. There is an emblem here. Can you read something which is there in Telugu? Yeah. On the podium. There's something in Telugu. Anybody who can read this? It is written something like Shraddhavan Labade Jnana. Right? As a student, the first thing that you need to understand, forget about what your parents are saying, forget about what your what you want to do and all. That's all secondary. The first thing is Shraddha. Shraddha is the most important thing. Shraddha is not sitting in the class and watching your mobile. Okay? Shraddha is not bunking your classes. I have done it. A lot of successful people also have done it. But the percentage of people who are bunking the classes and being successful is very less. Please understand that. Okay? So, and then bunking the classes and going to movies, your favorite heroes, heroines movies, is not Shraddha. What is Shraddha is what is told to you with experience by your teachers or your parents or whoever is the elders or whoever is your godfathers or godmothers, following that to the T. sometimes as a student you might not want to do what they want to tell you. But again, if you have communication with your parents, communication is not sending a text. That's not communication. Okay? If when we were growing, it was not there. Okay? Definitely. Yes. We don't have that option. If I have to go and ask for money with my dad or mom to for say buy anything, I have to plan. It takes 2 or 3 days for me to observe my parents' behavior. Are they happy? Is this the right time to go? You cannot just pop in and say, okay, I want to buy a bicycle. No, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen that way. Now, you need to observe. That means you have to spend time with your parents. If you do it, I think communication barrier will go. Then you sitting with your parents and saying, you know what, I know you want me to become a lawyer, engineer, doctor, space scientist, but I want to be a gardener. It's a very easy discussion if you have that communication with them. So the sadness behind that question is, I'm not saying personally from you, but generally with this generation is the lack of communication with your parents. So if you break that, anything that you want is what your parents will support. I'm sure about it.
Thank you.
To add just one point, if you believe in your passion, make them understand it. That is more important.
Thank you, sir.
Busy scheduled to be here with us today. We would like to present you with a small memento of gratitude. I request Anshika ma'am to give the mementos. I request people to give a big round of applause to our.